What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your co-host CJ. Here are my lovely co-host ZD on this Wednesday, August 13th
Yes, sir.
night. Here with the one and only ZD. Like I mentioned earlier, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Man, I'm good, bro. Me and you, we've been chopping it up for the last hours, just trying to get all the kinks out, dude. I sent you the outline a little late. Went to the gym though, had a good day at showing my girl. Like I can't complain, bro. I'm above ground. About hoops with you, man. I think we talked about the Bucks today for the offseason files, and then we got the isolation scores, so that's gonna be fun. But how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, like you,
Yeah,
I went to the gym, had a good little workout, and now I'm here ready to chop it up, bro, with you about some
there you go.
hoops. We have some good topics. I'm
There you go.
excited for the people to hear and listen. I think this one's gonna be a good one, man. I'm excited.
It's
Just
gonna be good.
as we were chopping it up before we started recording and stuff, just ready for the season, bro. Just excited for it. We keep talking about it, and like you said, you want to appreciate what just happened with the Thunder winning a chip, but like it's already on to the next season, bro. It's crazy that's how fast
Yeah,
things
yeah.
go. But I'm excited, bro. I think this podcast is gonna be really good, and can't wait to chop it up about the Bucks with you later on in this episode. So
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry if I cut in and out for my audio listeners, but I'm trying to get better at like catching that. So we're gonna figure it out if there's any TD. But anyways, man, you want to kick it off? You want to talk about the isolation scores? Because I'm pretty excited, bro. We got
yeah,
some killers.
yeah, bro. We have some really good players, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. I said it's a little surprising because I won't spoil
Yeah,
it, but you'll know by the end of the section whenever we wrap it all up for the top five scores, top five NBA ISO scores. So I think just starting off strong. Number five, Kyrie Irving, Dallas Mavericks. He's fifth in isolation scoring. Wizard with the ball. Kyrie's creativity and isolation remains otherworldly. His handle mesmerize his handle mesmerized, his jumper unshakable. Killer Kai is still at the top of
yeah.
his craft, even when defenses know what's coming. So he averaged 24.7 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists on 47% from the field. Um, yeah, not really much
Kind
to
of a
say.
killer.
Yeah, just I think everyone knows kind of what who Kyrie is and kind of what he's able to do when he's on the court, and it has been one of the greatest scores that I've seen personally. It's kind of crazy to think because I've seen that's how I know we're getting older, bro, because I've seen the beginnings of like some of these legendary players careers, and it's kind of crazy to think, but when he hit that
Yeah,
shot against the Warriors, coming down 3-1, like all this stuff, even what he's kind of turned into now, like realizing that he probably can't be the best guy on the team, but he could be a great co-star. And I think that was something like his career trajectory is just crazy. But going back to his scoring, it just kind of is dope to kind of see that his game has evolved the older he's gotten. He's always been really crafty. He was kind of like just a shifty player at first, getting to the rim, kind of getting to that mid range, but then it kind of just progressed to getting tough layups and like tough contested jump shots, and just kind of his
yeah,
shot making is
yeah.
what I'm most impressed with him, because he doesn't need like obviously number five in point in the ISO, so he doesn't really need much. He can
Right.
kind of get to it himself. So Kyrie Irving, number five. Any thoughts, Z? Anything you want to add?
Uh, yeah, Uncle Drew, man, in Dallas. I think we've seen him turn into a real assassin. I mean, for those people who don't know, this is a ranking based off of points per possession, which is essentially how many points you get per isolation possession. It's pretty simple, but these guys are averaging, a point at least or more, which is pretty crazy. So Kyrie's going to get at least to the free throw line basically and make sure he gets to a bucket. But yeah, you said it. Very crafty. I've seen a lot of reports because he's been injured right now. Unfortunately, he went down, but he's been going a lot and just talking about his time with LeBron and with Kevin Durant and how he's built his skill and that's really helped him become the type of player that he is today. And obviously, getting a chance to play with Luka Doncic is very, very special, bro. So I think he's been able to develop his skill alongside of some of the greatest players the game has ever seen. Like you said it, bro, it makes it very easy. At the same time, I do want to say, in my opinion, I think we've probably ever seen in this game. There's really nobody else besides maybe Steph, if you want to put him on that list, right? But Kyrie's just dazzling with his handle, bro. You brought up a really good point earlier before we got on live, obviously. But he's so lanky, pause, whatever. But he can get to his spots. He can finish with either hand, bro. About 90% from the line. Pretty much a 50-40-90 guy on any given season. Like, it's super valuable, bro. I think he's getting like 1.06 points per. Even at his age, bro, like Kyrie's still getting older as we speak. He got injured, so we know that could impact his skill. But what we've seen up to this point has been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Number 5, man. Started off strong. So
Yes,
going on
sir.
to the next one.
I can get into Brunson if you want.
Yeah. Go for
I
it.
got you. I got
Yeah.
you. I just, yeah, I got you, bro. Because we're gonna talk about the Knicks in a few days. I think it's gonna be on Monday's show, but yeah, it's none other than Jalen Brunson, man. He's King of New York situation. I think he came in with the expectation that he was going to be the main guy, and we've seen that coalesce over the last few seasons. He won Clutch Player of the Year this year, bro. So we've all seen the capability that Jalen Brunson. The Mavericks, bro, what are you doing? Not giving Jalen Brunson the bag. It's interesting because they gave Kyrie the bag. Jalen Brunson is like, I think at this point in his career, a lot better than Kai is. He offers a very crafty player. And I think for me, what it was the assist category for him. Like, I think he was getting 8 assists a game. Yeah. And that was really surprising. He's a good player. What can I really say? Just 1.10 points per possession. Just remember, that's a high number. So
yeah, you go. I agree. I think like Z was saying, we were kind of talking about it before we hopped on. I think I'm a Jalen Brunson believer now. I think these past 2 seasons, what he's been able to, or 3 seasons, what he's been able to do since he came to New York, I think he kind of has proven that he can be the guy. And then when if you surround him with the right pieces, then he could take you to a conference finals game that we know of as of late. So I think his game, I don't really see it regressing at all because just the way he plays. I mean, obviously he's not like a quick guy. He's not blowing by people. He doesn't have, super athleticism, but he's able to get to his spots, and like you said, he has really good footwork. So he can kind of manipulate people, kind of go up and unders, and then pump fakes. Yeah. Like, he just plays smart. So I don't really see him declining anytime soon. So I think just what he's been able to do these past couple seasons with the Knicks, taking them to places they haven't been in 20 years, whatever it is. It's dope to see. I feel like it's always fun. And the league is always better whenever like New York or the Lakers are good. It just kind of makes it more exciting, and everyone's kind of keeping up with it more. So it's dope. I like it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I that's a great analysis. You didn't cut at all, so hopefully we can use that one.
I got you. Yeah. So
yeah, you can go into debug. Yeah.
Going into the next one, number 3 on the list, we got Devin Booker, Phoenix Suns. Booker is the definition of low volume, high efficiency isolation scoring. No fancy combos, just textbook pullbacks and step backs, executed with Archer-like precision, hand down, man down, and he hits every time. So yeah, he's getting 1.07 points per possession. I think that's what it is. 2.2 possessions. He averaged 26, 7, and 4. I think the thing with him that just kind of seeing how his game it's improved. He's more polished now, but I think just kind of what he was doing as a freshman, like coming off the bench at Kentucky, is how he has always played. I think he's just gotten more confidence and gotten, like I said, just a little, refined his craft essentially, sharpened the iron and whatnot, like those type of sayings. Like, he's gotten so good to where, like, you asked like, oh, hey, how many points do you think he averaged? And I was like, oh shit, probably like 26, bro. Like honestly, 27 maybe. And you're like, hey, yeah, dude, 26. And I was like, yeah, like I kind of expect that from D-Book at this point of his career. I
Mm,
think he's just been consistent. I mean, he's made it to finals. He's done all these things already. He
yeah,
just hasn't been able to win. But I mean, I think we've talked about it. Obviously, being the Suns' leading franchise scorer, where does he rank in Suns franchise? I mean, he's definitely, I would say he's top two, top three, you know what I mean? Conversations. And
sure.
I think it's just kind of the type of person he is. It's not the fanciest. He's not dunking on you, but he's able to get to his
Yeah,
spots and just, like they said, hand down, man down, bro. He's going to make it majority of the time.
yeah, he does a lot of work in the mid range, bro. He's very, very polished. I don't have too much to add. He's just one of the best scorers we've ever seen, and the best. I mean, I think he has the most franchise points in history. So for people who don't think he's a good scorer, it's clearly not the case. And my bad, I said 1.10 for Brunson. I meant to say 1.07. They're tied, I
Oh, yeah, I was
guess.
going to say they're tied, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean Devin Booker. What can I say, bro? Just Team USA too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna win a championship. Like I think he's not on a good team. I would argue that maybe even the Mavericks might be better than the Suns. We'll see this season. Like that could be my hot take, but I know the Knicks are for sure, and then the rest of the players, great teams. So that's the one thing that you could be concerned with. Just he don't play for that good of a team, and honestly, he hasn't been back to the finals
Since.
2021 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, shout out D Book though. I don't need to add too much, bro. He's cold. He's
Cold.
cool.
Cold.
Yes,
Next,
sir.
this next guy, number 2 on the list. We've
There
talked
you
about him
go.
a lot all season. He's a MVP of the league, the Finals MVP, the Western Conference MVP, the scoring title, the one and only Shea Gilgeous-Alexander,
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen.
yes,
Shea
sir.
Shea moves like water through cracks, slithering by defenders before pausing to fire a pull up in perfect rhythm. No flinch, no fanfare. Against him, defenders become just background noise. Shea won his
Exactly.
first MVP this season and is an all-time Thunder legend. Yeah, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
pretty much sums it up perfectly, bro. I mean, we've talked about him all season. We were able to witness everything. For everyone that wasn't and just kind of bought into the whole free throw merchant, I think finals kind of showed people the type of player he is and what he can be and what he's able to do. For a basketball team, and I was. Obviously being a fan of the Thunder, I'm able to kind of see that, and not everyone was kind of aware of it until really last season, but I kind of saw glimpses of it, and I remember, kind of throwing it back, pause, when we talked about, I think I asked you and Los at the time when we were doing it at the 2600. I was like, what
Oh,
makes
okay.
a player like that guy, or like when do you consider someone to be like that guy, right? Like, oh, that's just what you expect from him. And I think we kind of all like we're in agreement, and I think it's if they do it for like 2 straight years, it's like, oh, okay, like that's kind of what
Yeah.
it takes, or maybe even a full season depending on the situations, but it's like, okay, that person, that's what we expect from him now. And long story short, to drag on the story, I think that's exactly what Shea has been. I saw his just his creation from the mid range. I think is really where like gets a lot of people. I think like the Kobe comparisons were getting
Yeah.
thrown around a lot. Like I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that yet. I'm not gonna. I would say very similar, but like I think Kobe is just on a different level, and like you gotta respect greatness. You can obviously compare, but I think he's getting into those talks just the way that he's kind of played and kind of has, this is isolation in general. So I think him when he's hitting his like little sidestep threes, you know what I mean? I think that kind of opened up his game more. So I think pretty much he's getting to become a 3 level scorer. I would say he's definitely probably one of the best mid-range players, and honestly one of the best at getting to the rim as well. So it's kind of hard to like we were saying, moves through like water through cracks. You know what I mean? He just finds
There
out a
you
way to
go.
get to the basket, and is great at drawing fouls. So what more can I say about the Finals MVP
Yeah,
Shea?
yeah, exactly. Like I mean, I think for me it's just about uh like he was on the Clippers. I don't think there's a reason he was in the Paul George trade. I'm sure they look back on it and they're pretty disappointed. I don't think they were assuming he was going to develop into such a dangerous, but clearly, he's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's him. He's the last 3 seasons straight. So, I mean, at this point, if you're combating that he's not a good player, then you're capped. Like CJ already said, I mean, his pull ups are money. I think if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Embiid used to hold this crown. I think Shea most points in the mid range now, which is really good. Like he's kind of bringing back that lifestyle, like making sure like people know. I think D Book does a good job of this too, and Brunson. Honestly, all these
All these guys,
kill
yeah.
from the mid range.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say like now that I'm naming off all these dudes, they all.
Yeah.
But I would say Shea does a really good job, and he uses the mid range to get to the free throw line, and then when he's also feeling himself from three, that's when he becomes a really dangerous
Dangerous.
player. Yeah, bro, like you said, just having an MVP sweep pretty much. Stuff like that doesn't. I don't know if that's gonna happen next season. I don't know if people appreciate greatness, but they will when they recognize like usually that doesn't happen. And honestly, we're blessed. Like I think Luka, like you were saying, seeing him be an MVP, like that would be really. But we just don't get seasons like Shea had last year. So clearly, it's showing in the numbers. The number 2 isolation player, and like I think you did a good job of it. I wanted to touch on like I think his development from where he was at on the Clippers to now is like pretty cool to see, and he's one of these guys like similar to like a Brunson that I would say like D Book, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant all came in with a certain expectation that they're gonna be the guy whatever team they're on they're gonna be taken care of, and I think Shea and Brunson kind of fight a different way, and that's why I respect him a lot. Like for him to be second on this list, obviously I spoiled it, but for him to be second on this list is cool, bro.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's super dope. It just kind of shows that it doesn't really matter when you're drafted. It's just kind of getting to that point and then working to wherever
Right.
your role is on a team, that be
Whatever
an
you end up
MVP
doing.
or a glue guy, whatever it is. Like you'll get your opportunity if you just kind of put in the work. So hell yeah, no, I agree, bro. But like you said a little earlier, we spoiled it, but the number 1 player in isolation scoring in the NBA this year was the one and only Kevin Durant. Durant scoring is surgical and untouchable with effortless length and smooth footwork. He knocks down pull-ups that make defenders feel helpless. Even as he ages, his isolation dominance stays elite. Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect way of summing it up. KD, we talked about him a little before we started recording. Kind of my whole story arc with Kevin Durant, just him being at OKC, doing what he did, and then losing to the Warriors, going over there, and just kind of his progression, his career, it being played out right in front of me. And this was like when I was starting to get into basketball, like starting to love it. So like I'm not gonna lie, bro, I was a
Yeah,
little salty when KD went to the Warriors, bro. I was kind of like, damn, I don't know if I fuck with
yeah,
KD anymore. And then years
for sure.
passed. I think when he went to Brooklyn, and even like those last couple of years, or that last year in the Warriors, at the Warriors when he like tore his Achilles and stuff, I was just like, man, like I don't know, bro. Like I can't be mad at him. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like it
Yeah,
is what it is, and he's still a great
it is what
player.
it
You
is.
know what I mean? Like he's one of the best. And I don't know. I think low key it might have been after Kobe passed, bro. I think it's
Okay,
just like one of those
you gotta
like,
forgive him.
yeah, bro, because life's too short, and it's like no reason to be like, oh, I hate this guy. It's like,
I
bro,
hate
like
this person.
he
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's
Like,
good. He's good at basketball, and he played for your team. Just doesn't play with them anymore. So sucked. But I think going back, circling the conversation back around, I say that to say that Kevin Durant is one of the, if not the greatest scorer I've ever seen. I don't know if he's if that Braun record is ever going to be broken. But numbers kind of don't lie, but like I think the way that Kevin Durant scores, it just has been what it has been his whole career, just being able to shoot over people, get to the rim. Not as much. He's more so mid-range now and three-pointers, but when he was younger and stuff like that, it just kind of proves his dominance. And the fact that he's getting up there, and I think you said he's potentially going to break Michael Jordan's record, right, for scoring. The fact that he's able to do that, and he hasn't really had the healthiest career, kind of just shows
Not at all.
how great of a player and how dominant offensively he's been, and
Yeah.
he still is in the league to this day. So shout out Kevin Durant, bro. I have nothing but good things to
shout out
say for
KD.
him now, and just gotta show props, gotta give props where it's due, and he's the one of the best bucket getters I've ever seen. So
100%. Getting 27, 6, and 4 or 5 or something like that. To be able to score at his age, I think, kind of goes to show you how special of a player he is. And, we've talked about him a lot and his skill, bro, and what he can do. But there's a reason why the Rockets got him. It's not they knew this information, basically. They knew he was the number one. They really needed that on their roster. I mean, it's going to be a perfect concoction in the West, bro. They're the Thunder. Kevin Durant used to play on the Thunder, like you had to go to the Warriors to win a chip. He's always been that guy, like I said. So, I mean, he's lived up to like the hype for sure. Like you said, he was more athletic when he was winning those MVPs and playing with the Sonics, the Thunder. Like he was dunking on people, and now it's very seasoned. Mid-range money, not a ton of threes, but timely threes, and his scoring it always seems to get better. Like maybe he's not getting 30, but the way he's scoring, it always seems to like just get better and better, bro. So I'm not surprised he's averaging 1.1 points per possession on isolation. So these numbers from half past noon. So shout out to them. We did a little exercise, so that was cool. And yeah, like Kevin Durant, what a way to finish that. You guys know that though. I spoiler.
right, they knew.
Like hopefully that wasn't too bad. Yeah, maybe they knew. Maybe you guys knew, but I realized after I said that, I was like, bro, you just gave it away.
Yeah, it's
okay. But hopefully you guys can forgive. But yes, the Slim Reaper, he's still doing his thing, bro. It's crazy. Like I said, to see at his age. Yeah, I think he is on track to pass my. Like you said earlier, you mentioned earlier, you touched on really good points. So I don't need to say too much, but I hope he figures out a way to win just without Curry. I want to see it. Yeah. I think that would be really cool to see KD in the finals, bro. Competing for the finals, going up against your team. Like that would be really cool. So what to see. All
right, let me little exercise for us, just as basketball watchers, enjoyers. What would that do for his career? Like, what would that push him any higher than what you think? Like, where would you rank KD? I guess right now, like just as a player, is he a top?
That's a good question. Probably like top, no doubt top 15.
Okay.
I mean, if he were to win with that, like I think, like you got to put him almost in the top 10.
If he wins,
I mean, especially if that. Oh no, if he wins with the Rockets, he's like solid top 10. But like he's gonna pass MJ, bro. He might get another All-Star appearance. Like I don't know. Like Kevin Durant's when they do the 100-year anniversary team within 20, I know for sure within 20, and most likely within 10. He might be 10 or 9, but he's still like the best scorer like we've ever seen, pretty much.
Yeah, I was just curious because
I've never seen anybody like that.
I know there's some people that might have him a little lower, some people that have him higher. I was just curious, but I guess if he got this championship, then he would be solidified a top 10 player.
I think I think if he goes to Western Conference, like to me, that would be like, okay, you lost in 7 games, you're going up against the Thunder, like, all right, you got something for it. Like you're not sorry. Like I'll put KD in my top. that was the case. But right now, I think if we had to go with 10 people, MJ, Bron.
You're putting the old heads in there, right?
Yeah,
Like
like I'm putting the old heads, bro.
Bill
So like
Russell,
probably Bill Russell, right?
Kareem.
Kareem. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about like Larry Bird in there or like Magic, right?
I'm not mad at it. I mean, Larry Bird won 3 straight
Um,
MVPs. So.
Probably Jerry West
Okay.
before him. Probably Dirk Nowitzki before him.
Really? Before
Not gonna lie. Yeah, bro. Like,
is it because of that championship?
yeah, and Tim Duncan before him.
Tim Duncan has
like,
to be. Yeah. Damn. So is KD like a top 15 then?
That's what I said earlier. Like, he's got to win. He's not much further than that.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I think since, for example, before Karl Malone, right?
Right.
But he's also not higher than people think.
Right.
Like you're saying, like there's a lot of cats that could go in front of him, and it would make sense.
Yeah, there's some people I've seen like, just like YouTube shorts.
That's why I named a few so
top
people
25 knew. And like he's
like not even
bro.
Top
30. I'm like, oh.
That's a good question, bro.
I don't know. I was just curious because
that's why I named off a couple because I didn't want people to be like, "Who's your 10?"
Right.
Like who's your 10? Like, put me on the spot. But I was like, I'm gonna name. We're gonna go through 11 or 12 people. Y'all will see. Like, okay. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. Jerry West got an MVP. He lost, bro.
Hakeem's gotta be up there, right?
Hakeem's gotta be up there too. Yeah.
Shaq
too. Shaq as well.
Damn. I'm starting to. Okay. We might have to do that. We might have to do that as a little exercise.
Rank that. Yeah, sure, that's gonna take a long time. We'll have to bunch it up.
Yeah,
we'll have to.
Sorry, probably.
We'll do 100.
Yeah,
we can do 100. Just 4 episodes, 25 people. That's not
work impossible. Our way up.
Probably up. Yeah.
Oh, that would be
because it'll get easier as we get.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm gonna look it up. There's some cats like I want to shout out. It's like Dolph Shays. Yeah, Shays. Like there's a couple other cats that were like cold in the 50s. Like they're getting to it. So I'm not gonna leave them off the list for sure. Yeah, and like even like what's his face for the help me out for the Wes Unseld. Like he's getting to it, bro. Like he may
some
not
booty shorts, bro.
Yeah, and some booty shorts. He may not be all that, bro. Top 100 ton.
Yeah, right.
No doubt.
Willis Reed, shit like that. Like
Willis Reed, exactly. Like they're at the bottom, but like you got a couple right there. There's a couple other guys too that are. You'll be like, yeah, that guy's definitely one of the best players ever. I was thinking about him. I think Kevin Durant's above Isaiah Thomas. Is that a hot take? Or not really?
It might be a hot take
because he's winning a lot of chips.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I'm not mad at that.
I think Bird, Jordan, and Magic deserve to be there from the era, but that's it. And maybe Shaquille O'Neal if you want to throw him in. Timmy D too. Like at the end, late 90s.
Right.
But 80s was like Bird, Magic.
Right.
And then Jordan came.
Yeah.
And like I would say Isaiah had his time, like they won, but I don't know.
Is he
he's like top 50 to me. He's top 50 to me.
Is he like a significant amount below KD, or is he just like right?
No, he's in like the Stockton area. So the Stockton area is like 20.
Okay.
20s.
He's better than Stockton though, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was just making sure.
But Stockton,
Stockton's
of course.
I fuck with Stockton, but I think
he didn't win.
Yeah, he didn't win. Didn't they win too?
He didn't win. Yes. Yeah. You're talking about Isaiah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like, you could put. There's a lot of people.
There's
honestly,
a lot of
that
people.
We'll go through.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. That's why I was asking because obviously.
Well, you think Russ is better than KD?
Ooh. Nah.
Because right?
Nah, you can't.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, no way. But
no way.
Maybe personally, but.
Since they haven't won a chip, right?
James Harden isn't because they didn't win a chip. Yeah,
I agree. Because like Lillard won't be.
Won't be.
He's up there, bro. He's top 25 for sure.
Yeah, I would say. back-to-back NBA
And
champ, right?
yeah, 2 Finals
Two
MVPs.
MVP, whatever, all NBAs. Yeah, for sure.
That's a really good question. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about
Yeah,
it. That's a good
I was just
episode idea,
curious
but
because
you got that live.
I think I wanted to just ask you that because I think I wanted to bring up what this championship could do for his legacy. I guess that's why
Mm,
I brought it up.
makes sense.
But if he
Yeah, I think it
wins, then
would
it will
change it
bring
for me.
him. He will be a top 10 player for sure.
No doubt in my head. I think he's like just outside the top 10. If honestly, Katie will be somewhere in like my 15, 14 range, most likely. You could have him outside of your top 20, and
Right. It's like
I would be like, I understand,
right.
but not me personally.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks. But you ready to get into these off-season files? Because I don't bet.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm okay, cool. No, yeah, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties earlier, but we've been going through that the last couple times.
So,
But it is what it is. The way that we do the off-season files, you guys know. We're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, we talking about the Bucks today. And it's interesting because I went out of order. I think I said this last pod that hasn't came, but I did. What did we do? Minnesota first.
when we were supposed
to do Miami. You're right. So if you're a Bucks fan, I apologize. I got you covered on this one. The way that we like to do it on this show, we get down. We talk about who the franchise is building around. Usually we got 3 players. Then we really talk about their cap situation, and we go into the strategic on the court and off the court improvements they can make. So it's pretty detailed. CJ, I think this one's going to be fun, man, because Milwaukee's in a little turmoil. I'm full disclaimer. This list was hard to make. I couldn't find players they could build. Milwaukee, you got to get right because it was definitely tough for CJ and I to do this, and that's definitely not a good sign.
It's not a good sign at all.
Nonetheless, I'm gonna start it off on a good note. Giannis Antetokounmpo, you guys already know the deal, man. MVP candidate, NBA Finals champion, Finals MVP. He's won it all. At this moment, man, there's really not much else he can prove, bro. We've seen it all. For me, what I was most shocked with this last season was you saw the number. I think he was getting 30, 11, and 7, bro, which is very, very good to see from Giannis Antetokounmpo. That means looking to get other guys involved and really take that next step as a full basketball player. We've seen him be skinny Giannis to build, to get in that mid-range, now to be really the next thing, if he adds it, would be a 3. I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
You think Giannis will ever get a 3?
I don't think so, bro. Like maybe his tail end of his career or something. I don't know.
For the Milwaukee Bucks fans, I'm gonna say he could. He becomes an extremely dangerous player, but bro, I mean that contract, CJ, $54 million this year, escalating. You guys know that 5-year max. It's pricey, but it's worth every penny. It's worth every penny, and he's worth the price of admission. He's been a great focal leader, has that famous speech about, it's not a failure. He's very, very, very direct and a very good person. He's been great for really, I think since Kareem, if I'm not mistaken, last time they won an NBA championship, and he was able to bring it to Milwaukee. So I wanted to start off by saying, I know Milwaukee fans love Giannis. Clearly, main centerpiece. He's the main centerpiece that they're really building around. That can't be debated with anybody. These next 2 guys, Bucks fans, I understand if you guys don't think you can put in the comment section, these are the players that you guys will build around. These are the ones that me and CJ fell on. Looking at your guys' roster, man, it's definitely slim pickings now without Lillard. But nonetheless, man, let's get into Miles Turner, bro. And CJ, what do you think about his year, $108 million contract, man, for his services at his age?
I think it wasn't the greatest contract, but it's just kind of what else would they have done? Who else would they really?
What else can you do?
Yeah.
What else can you do?
I think I talked to you about it a little bit prior to us recording, of course, and I told you that I think Miles Turner. I think he's going to be able to provide what Brook Lopez was, just probably just a little bit better, just because he's younger. I think he kind of be a little more athletic, but just kind of spacing out the floor. Oh, if Giannis drives to the rim, they're gonna triple team him. He's gonna toss it back to you, and hopefully you can knock down those threes because you're probably gonna get them all season. So, for what he's able to provide, I don't think the contract is the greatest, but I think for the situation that they're in, kind of buying out Dame and just kind of rebuilding a rebuild, or not rebuilding a move
much.
that didn't really work. So I think it's good for who they
rebuilding
needed.
and rebuild.
Yeah, I was about to say a rebuild, but I mean Dame and Giannis
Bro,
wasn't really
they tried to go out and get Lillard, like you're saying, blew the doors off of that, and now they're trying to just go inside Miles and try to be like, well, we'll put a Band-Aid on it. You're rebuilding a rebuild. Like,
yeah.
that's pretty.
No, yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
that, man.
So, but I think he for what he can do. No, I wouldn't say his contract is worth it, but for what they needed and what they're going through right now as a franchise, I think it's okay.
And that takes me to my next point, dude. Hey, he was showing out in the playoffs for me. I'm gonna be honest. Miles Turner was doing his thing. He was one of the main reasons was doing so well. He was getting rebounds. He was being. I think he's starting to get into the main part of his prime, and like, I don't think it's any higher from here. That's my only. He's a great player, but I'm not hating on him. I love Miles Turner. Like, we love Miles Turner on this show, but I will say, like, there's going to be some question marks that are going to have to be answered. We'll talk about it a little later, right? I think the contract is a bad one, in my opinion. I think, like you're saying, to have him in the corner shooting threes, right? He's not going to be. How much value are you really going to get? I think there was a reason why he was doing very well. Like, he was doing well on the Pacers for that. Okay, interior defense. I'll step out and hit the occasional three. I know I can get on the Bucks. Like, it's all Giannis, and so I think their positions clash a little bit. But other than that, man, I think he's a great player. He was the best available to them. So, yeah, to your point, Miles Turner is somebody who's going to provide value at the number. I don't know if I would have done it. I understand why, though. And we'll get into their books. Like, they had the money to, so it's not a massive issue. But Miles Turner, nonetheless, is definitely the second player that Three-Man Weed thinks that they're building around. And this list was hard.
It's hard.
Hopefully you guys like this third person as well, but it's none other than Bobby Portis, who honestly, me and CJ both agree is most likely the second best player on the Bucks as of now, just based off of his statistics and what he's provided in the playoffs. And that pedigree is very useful. Losing Pat Connaughton to the Hornets, Bobby Portis has been their bench glue guy. He's been able to start. He will now be starting yeah. Obviously. Yeah. And really, for me, it's just been, like, I think out of Arkansas, we didn't expect much of Portis. He's turned into a pretty decent player in the NBA. I would argue top 100, yeah. Which is a big deal. I think that he's at the number two. Like, he's a very healthy contract. It's not. I forget how much he's getting paid
13.
per year. I think it might be 12. Yeah, 12 or. I didn't want to say 12. It was 13. Yeah, there you go. And but like, for example, that's a picture of a good contract, right? Like, you're paying Bobby Portis $13 million a year to go out and get 14, 15 points a night, right? Rebounds. He's not the best defender, but he's afraid to play deep, and I think that's really important. Like, he's not gonna lock down your right, but like, he'll go out there and bang, pause, and like word up and just be a threat. And you brought up his performance against the Pacers, who went to the finals, dropping 28 points, going 6 of 11 from deep. They're going to utilize his 3-point specialty, bro. And I think me and you have both seen Bobby Portis grow into the player that he really is today. And I think, we'll talk about this in the future. I think he could save the Bucks, kind of uses him as a trade asset. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but he has a lot of value in the NBA. If I was a GM, bro, I'd be looking to get Bobby. There's really no reason why you don't want to go out and get somebody. So those are the three guys that we think they're building around. It's pretty clear. Miles Turner, Bobby Portis, and obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo. And yeah, it used to be Damian Lillard. If I 2.5 months ago, it would have been Dame on this list, or you could put KPJ as well. Our viewers might put KPJ, so we understand. But those are the three main guys. But PJ, you want to talk about their cap situation?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So going on
There
to
you
the
go.
next segment, it's going to be their cap and roster situation for the Milwaukee Bucks. So their total active payroll right now for the 2025-2026 projection is $150 million. They're just under the first apron. Top heavy core, of course. We just talked about it. Giannis, Turner. They account for the majority of the cap space. Tax management, waiving and stretching Damian Lillard's contract freed short-term space, but left dead money on the books through 2029. Their draft capital, limited first-round flexibility until 2031, meaning trades will need to be player and salary-driven. So, we talked about it. You just brought it up as well with the Damian Lillard whole situation.
Yeah.
That situation helped him out right now for, the moment, trying to build a team. But in the long run, it kind of screwed him over because that's dead money for the next 4 years, and it's $22 million. It's a decent amount of your cap. And it's a player. It's a player that's not even on your team.
Right. So, and you're playing a good. Yeah.
So obviously that's not the greatest situation. But besides that, we talked about it earlier as well. They did a great job of kind of paying, obviously Giannis, he should be getting paid that much money. We're not questioning that.
Right.
But everyone else has had a really good contract. Maybe Miles Turner's in the conversation now for being questionable for his value. But, maybe even Kuzma as well. Sorry, as I'm looking down this list.
Kuzma's questionable.
But the Bobby contract, and then from that point on, KPJ, Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris, all these dudes are making less than $10 million a year. So, like I said, not the greatest roster, but contract-wise, book-wise, it's looking decent. Obviously the Dame situation isn't the greatest, but I think the situation, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, what they can do off the court improvements, but Giannis's contract is worth so much. If the conversations for a trade is out there, that's always something they can do. So their books are looking good. I have nothing really bad to say besides the Dame contract that they are paying
that dead money.
But
crazy.
Besides that, it's not too bad, bro. I mean, they don't have much, but they got Giannis and he got paid, so that's all that really matters. And everyone else is just kind of, you get what you can get, I guess.
Yeah, CJ and I spoke about this, but the CBA hasn't torched any team yet. So in case you guys haven't noticed, we've gone through a lot of these teams' finances. They've all been on different levels. I would say most of them have been fairly healthy, B+ to A+, right? But there's some Cavs, Celtics earlier. Mm-hmm. Now they're a little bit cleaner, but apron status, right? Not as healthy. It's interesting. We'll have to talk about it a little bit later. Spoil it this time, but trading Giannis, anything could happen. But 150 million to with the dead weight. It's just dead weight. I mean, that you could use it for a play, but unfortunately, you're paying Damian Lillard, who's on the Blazers, back in his hometown. Kind of crazy, bro. But I'll roll right into the strategic improvements that they can make as a. The Bucks last season, kind of in disarray. We saw them in the playoffs when they were competing. They lost, I think, in 5 games to the Pacers, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And the only person who looked, or people, were Portis and Giannis. Everybody else was kind of in disarray. That brings me to my first point. I think integrating Miles Turner with Giannis is really important. Like I said, those two positions really do clash. Giannis is going to be initiated, which is going to be good, bro. But ultimately, you got to figure out how Miles Turner can be effective in that. He's just sitting in the corner shooting threes, bro. That good, to be honest with you. Right. I mean, it is what it is. Learning that Giannis is going to be your main. I'm cutting.
You are.
Yes, bro. And I'm talking right into. Hey, but you got it, bro.
Yeah.
You come in serve us right here.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Just integrating Giannis's touches to ensure Turner's shooting
I
is
have them listed. Yeah,
maximized while Giannis can still feast inside without
I'm not gonna
congestion.
fuck it up.
I think like ZD was kind of saying before,
I
if
don't want to
Miles
cut.
Turner is just going to be in the corner waiting to get a 3-point shot, isn't the offense isn't going to be the greatest, so it's kind of hard to visualize them being a successful team or having a great year if they're not really clicking. So I think that is a great on court priority for them, probably their main one, because like we said as well earlier, they're two of the three that we think that they're going to be building their team around. So you kind of have to make sure
Exactly.
that they're coexisting well. So going into the next one, bench stability with Portis. Keep Bobby as the offensive leader for the second unit, but insulate him defensively with switchable wings. I think this is, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. If he's going to be starting or if he doesn't, I think he would be a great person coming off the bench. It just kind of is with their team. You would assume that he probably would be starting, right?
Well, no, no. Well, yeah. Like
Or do
I,
you or
I don't want to cut, but the like he's gonna have to play with the second unit still.
got you. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
So
think
like
he's
he can't just start and then go to the bench.
right.
Like he's going to stagger.
Right. I
But
got you.
I don't want to cut.
No, yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah. No, yeah. Just cuz they don't really have a bench, so I think having Bobby Portis be the main person with the bench unit, the second rotations and stuff, was going to help them a
Exactly.
lot to make sure they have a little bit of stability on the offensive end. Obviously, like ZD said earlier, he scored 28 in that playoff game against the Pacers. We've kind of seen performances for Bobby Portis a lot throughout his career where he's able to kind of catch fire. So, if he could kind of keep his role intact, and you're probably going to be starting, but you're probably going to be playing a lot with the second unit as well. I think that's going to help them win a lot of games this upcoming season.
Yeah, it'll be easier for them to not have the offense. They'll have to play Giannis too, but like everybody's gonna have to play the second unit because I don't think they're gonna start Andre Jackson. Probably not.
Probably not. Nah.
Probably not. Maybe, but
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Kuz, maybe Kuz for sure. KPJ. I mean, it might be Andre Jackson Jr.
It
at
might
the two,
be.
bro.
Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it might be because he's good
And then,
defensively. Have Bobby
yeah,
Portis
he's
come
gonna
off the.
start most likely, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna have to find that stability with Portis, but hopefully they dive into their bench, bro, because their bench is interesting. I mean, if
AJ
we look
Green.
at the roster, right, AJ, oh, it's gonna be AJ.
It's gonna be AJ. Yeah.
You're right. Andre Jackson Jr. is gonna come off the bench, huh?
Bench. Yeah. Unless they're wanting a more defensive lineup, but I think AJ Green honestly is a decent defender for what he's literally
Yeah,
like a
no,
three
no,
and
he
D guy,
gotta.
So I think that's kind
Yeah,
of what
he's
they're probably leaning more
yeah,
towards. Honestly, Gary Trent might start, to be honest.
yeah. I was gonna say maybe Gary Trent too, but these guys would all be useful to have come off the bench.
Right. 100%.
So, and somebody has to come off the bench. So most likely it might be to Gary Trent start as well.
Yeah.
So could be Gary Trent Jr. It could be AJ. We'll have to
We'll
see.
see. Yeah.
But I know Andre Jackson Jr. and then I'm gonna say AJ is gonna be on the bench.
On the
I think Gary
bench.
Trent Jr. is gonna.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think so.
didn't he drop 40 or 35 or whatever? 37?
Yeah, like he was still like cooking, bro, and he's still shooting. I think like 38% from deep.
Right. Yeah.
He's still pretty good, bro. So
Good player. And then the last on court priority for the Milwaukee Bucks, defensive identity. With Turner and
yeah,
Giannis as a twin rim protection core, Milwaukee can reestablish itself as a top 5 defense. Provide perimeter containment improves. Provided
right.
perimeter containment improves. I think like we talked about it. Giannis and Miles
We're
Turner.
gonna have to lean into that.
They're gonna have to lean into that, bro. I think they have pretty good perimeter defenders. So, we've been talking about him, Andre Jackson Jr. I think he's a really good defender. Just doesn't get as much opportunities. Maybe he's just not that good enough yet. But from what I saw from him when he played, I think we played against, or he started whenever we played him in the NBA Cup. So I was able to kind of
Mhm.
see how he played, and he's just one of those good perimeter defenders, picking you up right when you get the ball, just pressing you the whole time. I think that's kind of what they need to, they need to find players like that on their bench, kind of someone that's going to like rally the troops if they're down or if they're trying to get a defensive stop. I think, Andre Jackson Jr. can be one of those type of players. And,
For sure, bro.
they also have Torian Prince. Haven't really brought him up
Yeah.
at all, but,
I don't know if he'll play that much.
yeah.
To be honest with you, not more than these guys we're talking.
Right.
I think like he's gonna add some value, but I still think they're gonna rock with these like Gary Trent, AJ, and Andre Jackson Jr. I mean, yeah, Torian Prince might play. Maybe actually,
I was like maybe. I don't know, man. Their roster situation is so crazy. Like the more we're talking about it, I'm like, man,
not good.
It's not great, but yeah, no,
it's not great.
I think that's a great one because obviously I feel like whenever the Bucks were at their greatest was when they kind of knew their identity. They're playing a lot of drop coverages. Giannis just kind of just being like a safety in a sense, just guarding everywhere. I think that's kind of what they need to rely on a little bit, coming into this upcoming season and, if they're wanting to be successful for this upcoming year. So, any last?
No, I was gonna say like the reason why they went to the NBA Finals was because, and like again, Thunder went defense. Like to win, you got to defend, and that's ultimately what they got to do. And they're not going to be good on offense. That's the other thing. They're not going to be able to play through Giannis. Expect him to like save them, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not all those guys are going to have a good offensive. So, yeah, you just you can't let your defensive identity slip. It's that simple. But yeah, we can chop it up about these off the court questions, man. Too. I see myself,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be cool about it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so some off the court questions that, us at 3-Man Weave kind of came up with. Is Bobby Portis a trade chip? His contract.
I think so.
His contract and production make him one of the league's most appealing mid-tier salaries for a contender. If Milwaukee needs a secondary shot creator, he could be the key piece.
100%. Yeah. I mean, let's look at it though. I think, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of teams around the NBA like that, the type of player that Bobby Portis is, and if you can get a first-round pick at this point, since you lost the picks that you unfortunately traded for Dame for, that would be something of value. I'm not gonna lie, Bobby Portis is not gonna win you a championship. Honestly, none of these players are gonna win you a championship besides Giannis. So pretty much everybody should be on the table. I think if Portis has another really good year, yeah, like you got to move on from that, bro. He's aging. He can go to a team and get paid. Like, I don't know where he would be traded. And they can make the money work because it's a pretty small contract. Yeah. Like, it's not like you got to move $55 million around usually, like how we about to talk about it. But, yeah, there's a ton of teams that I know would be very interested in Bobby Portis. And I think if the Bucks can figure out a way to flip him, then so be it. I think you have to look at it as from a future standpoint. Like, is this roster that we have right now going to get us to the promised land? Because if not, then we need to be willing to trade even like our franchise superstars, like getting into his prime. Like, if their roster was good, that's another thing that's sad about this is like Giannis is like the best he'll ever be today. Most likely at 31, 32, like most likely all from here is going to be downhill. So the time's ticking. I think Bobby Portis's clock, is like similar. It's like we know that time is winding down and Milwaukee's going to move away from him most likely, especially if they don't end up going to the playoffs. Like I don't. We'll see how the rest of his contract plays out, but I wouldn't be shocked if they moved off of Bobby Portis. Like, and I think it would make a lot of sense. And I know he'd be able to drive a lot of value. Again, first round, maybe a decent player in a second round, like just something of value. And Milwaukee needs that. They're in slim picking. We've been talking about their roster all day, last 25 minutes. Like they don't have a lot of people that are. No offense to Milwaukee, but they need a good draft pick for sure. And Bobby Portis is a good player, not saying that, but like we could get some younger guys in the door.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I think that's really realistically, besides, betting on one of their younger guys, that's probably really the only player that is worth anything at this point for them. So I think
Exactly.
if they could get a first round pick, maybe like you said, a decent player or whatever, a couple first round pick. I don't know what they're gonna do. I've seen crazy trades in my life, so I don't know. But
Yeah.
as long as they could get something for him, because I don't think
Get one.
he's a great player, a good player, good NBA player. We've been talking about him for a little while now. I feel like Bobby Portis is probably this most airtime he's gotten in a while. For us at least.
Come on, yeah. We've been doing our thing.
But I think it's
what?
You might as well capitalize on the type of seasons he's been having these past years, because a team could see him and say like, oh, that's what we're missing. We're needing another person to come off the bench and score, or whatever it is that they need. And I think they could get a little bit of value for him at this point. So yeah, I'm not mad at that either.
Exactly. My next question, bro, do you think Miles Turner is a long-term fit? And if not, like, how can we move away from that?
Man, that is a great question. We talked about it. He's in the three people we think they're building around. But realistically, I don't think I don't see him being in the Milwaukee Bucks jersey for like the rest of his career, or until they're rebuilding around him or whatever. I don't think that's in their timeline. I don't know. Like I said, I think this was an addition that they were needing because of the situation they were in, and he was just available. And they're like, well, we need a center. Might as well get Miles Turner. He's a good player. Just made it to the finals, this and that. But I don't really see them building around him and see them in the Bucks' future.
Yeah.
For him, what they can do to, get off of his contract or get off of him as a player. Pause. I mean, probably just a trade, bro. Figure out.
Of course.
I think that's
you gotta package somebody together.
The easiest way to do it. There's teams in the league
they would
that
have to package somebody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. I'm not taking Miles Turner straight.
No. Hell
like you're saying, like I need AJ. I need a pick.
A couple young, yeah.
I'm gonna tax you a little bit
for sure
for that. Especially at his number, bro. Are you kidding me? Like that's another question I was gonna ask. Like, why did they really sign Miles Turner? I don't know, man. To me, it seemed a little bit desperate. Like I knew, whatever. He was the best available power forward. Cool. But is that really what the Bucks needed? Especially with Damian Lillard's dead weight? And now you're kind of bootstrapped into building around him unless you do the next thing we'll talk about. But like, yeah. I mean, I thought about that. I saw that I
just don't think they had any other choice, bro. Because like, let's say, what if they didn't sign Miles Turner, the roster without him, and just Giannis?
Doggy.
Trash.
It would be doggy.
Like at least like we have like
still
the hope.
Doggy.
No.
It's still
sure.
that.
But at least we have the thought of like, what if Miles Turner has an All-Star year, a potential All-Star year? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's the hope, I guess. But
I see. I you know what I mean? Like from their perspective. Yes. Like not our perspective.
Yeah. Like I don't know.
Like from their. And they're placing a lot of hope in him for sure. They're placing
a lot of hope in him, and I think this is kind of determining if I'm assuming based off of how successful this year is for them, will determine if Giannis stays or not. Like
that's a good point.
If they can't even, I think with Giannis alone, they could probably make the playoffs. Yeah, make the playoffs for sure. But if they don't, then that's a problem, and he's probably gonna leave. So. But I think that's kind of like the saving grace for them. Like, oh, Giannis, we know what he's going to do. He's gonna be a MVP race. He's gonna do these things. He's gonna lead us to the playoffs. But can Miles Turner provide a little bit of something to help Giannis along the way? I think,
Right.
because if they didn't have him, then it's just like, well, Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah,
He's gonna have to be the
and
one.
yeah,
Bobby Portis.
no, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, it makes sense.
I understand what you're saying too, though, because that is a pretty expensive contract for what he can provide.
And it's very like the window. Like 4 years, after 4 years, he's gonna.
Oh, he's already 29.
He's torched.
Yeah.
No, he's not torched, but like he's
on the decline at that point of his career.
He's on the decline at that point. So yeah, they put themselves in a little like some shackles a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I understand the play. Like I don't think it's bad. I like Miles too. I think he could end up having just the likelihood of that boosting you to a championship, because that's a goal, right?
Yeah.
If it gets you to Eastern and you lose, bro, like what we gonna have another failure conversation? Like they need to win chips. Giannis is one of the. I would say Giannis Antetokounmpo is competing with Kevin Durant right now for where. Giannis is a top 25 player, bro, of all time, bro.
We didn't even bring him up.
We didn't even bring him up, bro, and he's in the same mix as that. So like already, and he's not finished yet. So like he's like you're saying, he brought up a good point. They're gonna make the playoffs if he plays more than 65. If he reaches the game limit,
they're making
which is 65 games.
No.
He gonna make the playoffs, bro. Like you're saying, especially in a battered Eastern Conference. Yeah. But that's for this year. I'm like the future. We'll see. We'll see. So when the Pacers come back healthy, Celtics come back healthy, like I don't know if the Bucks are gonna be like you're saying. You're like, yeah, I see what you're saying like that. Yeah, the long-term fit question mark. I think when it comes to strategically exploring options, because you gotta wait till 26, 27 to make a decision with the next topic we're gonna talk about, and also package Miles Turner together. You're gonna be in a fire sale. Like if you guys don't make the playoffs, you're in a fire sale. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
For this next upcoming season, like you gotta figure out some sort of formula, because this can't be the future. That's simple. CJ, would you like to get into this unfortunate but important off the court move they could make?
Yeah. It's their last one as well. We kind of hinted at it earlier. I think this is one of the questions that they really do need to ask themselves as a franchise. Do they trade Giannis? And honestly, bro, I think that's probably the best move that they can make at this point. I'm not going to lie to you. We talked about it. We've been talking about it for the last, like you said, 25 minutes, bro. We're trying to figure out who they're going to build a team around. We're trying to look at, like, some of the assets that they have. They don't have anything, so it's hard.
They don't have any assets.
They don't have any, bro. It's hard to trying to build a team around one of the greatest players of this generation when you don't have much to do it around. You don't have much to be able to build around him. And I think if you trade him, I think we had this whole conversation about it. Should he request a trade? Should he do this? What do you think they do? I think as a franchise with the Bucks, that would be their best move that they can make, and that could potentially bring them back to that point again. Like obviously it's gonna be a future. You're gonna probably take a whole team's first round picks for the next 5-6 years, whatever it is. But at least you have a little bit of hope. Granted, whatever team he goes to, they're probably going to be decent. They might make the playoffs.
20s, right? Yeah,
it's going to be
20s, right?
It's gonna be. You're gonna have to be able to do a trade like this to kind of show, like, yes, obviously Giannis is one of the greatest Bucks of all time, but you don't have much right now, and that's the only way that you can potentially get back to that point again. At this point with this roster, we've been talking about it for the last 20 minutes. Like I said earlier, you're not winning a championship. Not now, probably not anytime soon. I hate to get all serious, but this is the type of things that you got to think about. And you have one of the greatest pieces, assets in the league right now. You might as well capitalize off that opportunity. And it sucks to say it, but I think that's probably the greatest move if they end up doing it. Might suck right now at this moment, but could potentially be one of those like, wow, this is what they got from the Giannis trade, and it's like boom, 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 So, but yeah, it's the tough conversation, and
That's for sure.
I think it's one of those like, yeah, honestly, at this point, regardless of how well they do, obviously if they don't make the playoffs, for sure, but I think even if they do, first round exit, maybe make it to the second round,
right? But you got to start asking those questions.
You got to ask those questions, bro, and it's tough, but it's a part of it, And I think with the player like him, you could just get so much back for him. So I think it's good. I was just about
to say that. I was gonna say the Bucks are in a good spot with that because the asking price can be astronomical. Like you can be like, yeah, I want 3-4 first rounds plus the other star player that you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we want. We want a younger star player plus all of the future picks. You can have him. He's going to be an MVP candidate, but he's in his prime. You have him for 3-4 years, right? But CJ, you bring up amazing points, man. I think for me, what it is he's paid his dues, bro.
He did.
He brought y'all a championship. I brought this up earlier. Kareem, that hadn't been done in so long, bro. Y'all got rid of Middleton, who I mistakenly thought was Dame, but like y'all got rid of Middleton. Y'all already got rid of Drew, right? Brook Lopez is now gone. Man, like Giannis is really the only dominant. He's really the only domino left standing, and so you have to make a decision, like CJ is saying, like which way do we go? Because I'll give you this picture right now. Giannis he stays with the Bucks. He rides out his contract, right? He leaves in free agency, or he re-signs. And they're still kind of in purgatory because they're paying him $60 million. And they just aren't good for the next 8 years. And we watch Giannis retire as a Buck. And that's that, right? He won one championship. Like, it could play out like that. Or he could just leave in free agency. That's the other thing you didn't bring up either. Like, once the contract is up, he could walk for free.
Yeah.
What if he walks for free? And you could have traded him, and instead you're going to let him walk because you were nervous about that? I know the Lakers aren't going to do that with Luka Doncic. We are not letting him. We're going to trade him. Yeah. If he wants to go, that's fine. But we're going to do that on our own terms. And so you don't want to lose. Like, we've seen teams lose out on this. Once guys' contracts are over, they just up and dip. And we'll have that conversation about Shea, right? Good, right? Like, whenever it comes due time, we'll talk about it with certain players. But right now, it's about Giannis. Like you said, you summed it up perfectly, bro. It's time to really ask the tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple, bro. And yeah, especially with the Eastern Conference where it's at, the landscape, the Bucks have the chance to be really good the next 4 or 5 years if they get some value back for Giannis. And if you call all other 29 teams going that,
without a doubt,
they're going to entertain. Every single team will entertain that offer. So, I mean, it's the ball's in the Bucks' court. As corny as that is, like, no pun intended. It's kind of up to you guys what your future looks like.
Yeah,
I know what it looks like. Like, I think he could either sulk on the Milwaukee bench. Y'all could wait, pray on a star. Maybe you get lucky in the draft, right? That could happen. That's been done before. Or he walks anyway.
Yeah.
And kind of like CJ's saying, he walks, he goes to another team, and then you guys are stuck. You guys are stuck with no picks and still paying Damian Lillard, who ain't even on your roster.
Sounds like a nightmare, bro. That's crazy.
It is a nightmare.
That's a nightmare,
bro. That would be a nightmare. And so that's why I brought up Luka. Like, that's what we're going to do. Once his contract's up, especially if we sign a 4-17, if that one gets signed, this new extension after the third year, and there's any rumblings of him wanting out at age 30, we gonna trade his ass, bro. This is the Lakers. This is business.
Yeah.
That's why I bring that up. Like, to have, like CJ's saying, you got to think about your future. Mm-hmm. So I think we summed it up pretty good, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think that was a good one. You know,
For sure.
was there any?
I'm sorry about the TD.
No, it's all good.
I just watch hoops, bro. Whenever you can. Like this season's gonna be crazy. You brought again of the show an hour ago. Like the start of the season's coming around the corner. We talked about the podcast haven't came out just yet, but we did bring up the schedule for Christmas Day. Be available, man. Make sure you're tuning in. Report's gonna be going stupid. Play fantasy basketball if that keeps you closer to. Yeah, do anything to stay close to hoop because this is really our bread and butter right here. You know, we show up even when things don't go. It's all good, man. It's part. So this is just the journey. We just going at it. So yeah, just watch basketball. That's all I can say. I feel like that's a reoccurring theme on 3 Man, but I feel like people still don't watch enough hoops.
Yeah. No, yeah, bro. Yeah. I feel like we've been, you know, campaigning that this whole year and just trying to let people know
watch more
how
basketball.
the sport of basketball, just kind of everything about it.
You know what's crazy?
You know? What's up?
I had a merch idea that said that watch more basketball, period. Just that.
We need to lock in, bro. We need to lock that in for sure.
Gotta watch more basketball.
Watch more
3 Man
basketball.
week.
But
yeah,
no, I don't have much else to say, man. Just kind of reiterating what ZD said. Watch hoops, bro. New season's about to about to happen soon, and can't wait to see what this year has to offer. You know, just this whole year, man. Just kind of the offseason files, being able to dive deep into each team before the season starts. I really love this. I hope, you know, we keep this up, and it's something a part of the offseason, just helps us still talk about hoops even when nothing else is going on, you know. But no, that's it for me.
That's it for me too. I appreciate you guys, man. I'll close it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I got to get my mic fixed, but I'm about to pull up on CJ. We're about to do it in person. We're going to do an in-person episode, so don't trip out. But yeah, man. That's going to do it for the boys over here at 3 Man Weave. Forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're going to catch y'all next time, man. Peace.
3 Man.
3 Man. Come on. 3 Man.